All right, this is part 6, and here is an example of a photo taken. On the left is a photo taken indoors with nice light coming through the window. It's a lovely picture. I love it. But when they moved outside, they didn't adjust their settings. I worked and worked on the image to the right to try to get it to look somewhat normal. It was almost completely blown out. Notice the faces in the image on the right. They're so blown out that you can barely see their features. And this is after working on it for a while. This could have been avoided had the photographer adjusted her settings. She could have gone up on her shutter speed or down on her ISO, whatever she needed to do, but because weddings move quickly, she wasn't really paying attention, and so they got pictures that were not her best work, I would say. So you definitely have to be ready for changes and always pay attention to your lighting, the lighting meter inside the viewfinder. And let's see. Okay, so having a system. This is really important. Once the ceremony is over, you'll need to take pictures of the entire wedding party and both families with the bride and groom. This can drag on for a very long time, or you can make it go quickly. This is the system I use. I start with the bride and groom alone. I'll grab 1 or 2 quick shots with the pastor or minister, wedding officiant, whatever, and then I'll tell them, you're free to go. Next, I'll grab the bride's parents. So this can be awkward at times if they're divorced, so be sure to discuss this with the bride and groom before the wedding day and have a plan. So have the bride and groom always stay in the center. I usually have them standing in the place where they were just married, and then I'll add in the bride's mom and dad. I like to have the dad on the bride's side and the mom on the groom's side, but it's really up to you. Next, I have the bride's parents stay there, and I add in the bride's grandparents. After I've added them, I'll have them, usually I'll have the grandparents, I'll tell them, you can go ahead and go, unless the bride or groom has told me ahead of time that they want to get some with just the bride and her grandparents or that type of thing. If they haven't said that, I'll tell the bride's grandparents, you're free to go. And then I'll add in the bride's siblings. Then I add in the bride's siblings' spouses, and then the bride's siblings' children. And then I'll ask the bride, are there any other family members on your side of the family that you want to add in? So we might, if she says, I want my grandparents in a big one, and I want some aunts and uncles and cousins, okay, that's fine. Everybody come back in. We'll take one big picture of the whole family, and then I'll tell all of the bride's family, unless they were in the wedding party, they can go over to the reception or cocktail hour or whatever they're doing. I now go on to the groom's side of the family, and I do the exact same thing. Start with bride and groom, add the groom's parents, add the groom's grandparents, add the groom's siblings, spouses of the siblings, and then children of the siblings, and then anyone else in their family that they want to get. So you can take variations however you'd like, but try to make it go quickly because everybody's standing there waiting, and I don't like to take up too much time on this. Also, be sure, once again, check your aperture. If you're getting into a lot of people, your aperture's gonna need to be somewhere around at f4.5, maybe f11, depending on the number of people. So you gotta adjust your lighting for that, all those things. The last group that I normally shoot is the entire wedding party. I sometimes take variations if they've requested it, or I didn't get it beforehand. But if not, I'll let everyone else, all the family, leave and take pictures of the wedding party, arrange them. I'm, good with getting the bride and groom with the maid of honor and the best man next to them, and then group out the other bridesmaids and groomsmen. However you want to do it, mix it up. Get some fun ones, get some funny ones, get some serious ones, posed, candid, mix it up. So once you've finished with the wedding party, you can tell them that they're free to go, and then you'll just have the bride and groom alone. Now you can take some with just the two of them, and you can move around, go outside, or whatever you think is prettiest. Once you've finished, race over to the reception so that you and your second shooter will be ready for the entrance when they're announced.